Fucking honey, there's wind, therefore we believe in God now. Do you understand me? We're Christians now, okay, because wind. What we do in Christianity, because patriarchy, you understand me? I won't stand for this. Fuck. Well, hello, heathens. How are you guys doing today? I hope you're doing all right. I'm doing pretty good. So today we're going to be answering 10 questions that atheists just cannot answer. This is brought to you by a channel I recently found called Godless. We actually did a collaboration today, so look him up on YouTube if you would like. He's pretty awesome, or you could go to the pinned post on the page because he's up there as well. All right, so tonight we are looking at 10 questions. Yes, they are the hardest questions ever that you definitely cannot answer. Not a one. So please try to leave your comments with your answers to these questions. Just pay attention and you will be able to hear them. All right, here's some riveting shit. Riveting content here.
Do you really believe that science is the only answer to all of life's questions?
Do I think that science is the only answer to life's questions? I think that that's a poorly formed question. I think that science can give us, our reality as we observe it, as we perceive it, as we experience it. So in that sense, I do think that science is the only way that we can achieve any kind of knowledge. So for your answer to everything, I guess yes. But again, it's a poorly formed question. Like, science can't answer, some things, I guess, like more of the abstract or philosophical concepts, although there are some people out there that do try to use science and math and all that kind of good shit to answer those. And I just think it's a little bit more difficult to answer, like, philosophical questions in a scientific manner. Whospin in there says, yes. Which science are you talking about? There's multiple different studies of science out there. So I think that, for the most part, yes, science can answer everything. Definitely the Bible or the Quran or whatever you might follow, it doesn't have like anything that matches our reality. So it's definitely not that shit.
If God doesn't exist, why do you care if people worship him?
Okay, good question. I'll answer this while I dance. Let's see. Why do I care if you believe in God? I don't. I really don't give a fuck if you believe in God. I don't. Where I do give a fuck is when, like, a politician says that, oh, we need to reduce SNAP benefits to people because the Bible fucking says that if you don't work, then you don't eat. That's why I give a fuck. Because people, politicians in particular, love to use the Bible in order to justify dumb-ass fucking shit. And I realize I'm dancing without any kind of music. I'll edit it in later.
Seriously? Can nothing create something?
All right. Well, your definition of nothing is quite different than the actual nothing that exists. You think nothing as a bare space of nothing. Nothing at all, right? But in reality, a bare space of what we perceive as nothing, like a vacuum or whatnot, still has some shit going on in there. There are virtual particles that exist that pop in and out of existence. So I don't understand why it's so unbelievable that something can come from nothing when your book, well, okay, Christianity, I would say all the Abrahamic religions think that God literally created something or everything out of nothing. So yeah, I would say that you having a problem with something coming from nothing is a problem for your own faith, not for my science. And dance.
If you've never been to the ends of the earth, if you've never been to every planet, if you've never been to every part of the universe, how do you know that God doesn't exist?
Okay, well, that's That's a literal, like, God of the gaps kind of mentality there. That's exactly what that is. Because it's like, oh, you mean to tell me your ass hasn't been all the way down to the very bottom of the Marianas Trench? You haven't explored the jungles of the Amazon? You don't know if God doesn't exist. Have you lived on Mars? Fuck you! You don't know if alien God exists. I mean, I literally think this guy just proved aliens. It's like, you don't know aliens aren't up there jacking off to us while we're masturbating over here. You don't know that shit. I mean, it's ridiculous to be like, oh, you have to explore every single part of the world as well as every square inch of the known universe in order to know that God doesn't exist. When especially you people like to push God outside of the realm of reality into the supernatural. See, that means that it exists outside of the natural world, which is to say, it doesn't fucking exist.
What is the origin of life?
Okay, what is the origin of life? Well, we don't know how life came to be. We don't know how life originally started. But I would say that we don't have to know it in order to know that God, at least in our current state of knowledge, doesn't exist. We don't have to know it. We don't need to prove any of that shit. Your explanations of God are bunk, and I'm gonna keep dancing.
If humans are animals, then where does our sense of justice, where does our sense of morality, where does our sense of what's right and what's wrong come from?
It's called fucking empathy. I'm sorry that you don't know this, but it's pretty basic for any fucking human being on the planet Earth. I get that some people don't have empathy, but I'm fairly certain that they are fully aware that they don't give a fuck about other people. But where does our sense of morality come from? Well, it's definitely not God or the Bible or the Quran, because that shit has changed over time. There's no way that the Bible gives you objective morality or any kind of morality. When you can go from one time period and be like, oh, you can rape a woman, you just got to pay up 40 shekels. Or at one point in time, it's like, oh, you can beat the fuck out of your woman, and, you know, she's just property. Make sure she doesn't die, you know? Who wants a dead woman on their doorstep? Not that one fucker who cut that concubine up and sent her out to all these places like a goddamn mob boss. But if you wanna try to push onto me that, like, oh, without God, there's no morality. Your God commits genocide and makes people fuck their brothers and sisters in order to populate the world, not once, but twice. And now, magically, it's somehow bad to fuck your sister and procreate. Because that's one thing that religious people like to throw in the face of atheists that think that morality is relative and whatnot. And, like, if they're not hurting people, who cares if a brother and a sister fuck? I don't think that they should have children. I think that it could be seen as child abuse for them to have kids because they would probably be born with a genetic disease of some type. But I don't see how you could judge me as being immoral just because I'm okay with God's sister fucking. Like, you're okay with it as long as it happens in the Bible. But as soon as you bring it into the current time period, it's like, oh, it's fucking bad.
If you were given irrefutable evidence that the God of the Bible is real, would you become a Christian?
Fuck no. Okay, first off, if I was given irrefutable evidence that the God of the Bible exists, does not necessarily mean that I would become a Christian. If the God of the Bible actually exists, I would say that makes him even more of a dickhead. And no, I wouldn't bow on my knees and suck that God dick or suck that Jesus dick. I would not do it because your God, your Jesus are assholes. And I don't want to be associated with assholes of that nature. That's how bad Jesus and God and the Holy Spirit and all that is. I mean, you got priests out there that are supposed to be working on his behalf, fucking little kids in the rectory. I don't want to be associated with a guy that would be like, that's part of my plan. That's my perfect plan right there. That priest really laying that pipe hard, and that 6-year-old. Oh fuck! That was my Friday night. Woo! Like, I'm not gonna be associated with that kind of fuck.
Tell me something. If evolution is real, And if evolution is really happening, how come there are no transitional forms that we can observe?
There are transitional forms. There are transitional forms. you know, I love it when they bring up this particular question. Like, why, oh, why are there no transitional forms? But, you look at the fossil record, and there are transitional forms every fucking where. Did you know that we perfectly predicted what kind of animal would have been the first animals to, like, crawl on land? And we actually were able to predict the exact location where we would find those fossils. And I can't remember the species name, but we found it right where we thought we would, because guess what? That's the power of science. Science has the power of prediction. Your fucking Bible has no power of prediction. You know how I know? Because Jesus has been supposedly coming back to bring the apocalypse or whatever the fuck for 2,000 years. And even in your own book it says, this generation shall not pass before I return. Oh, okay. Is one of the fucks still alive somewhere in a cave being kept on life support somewhere? I don't know. Are we waiting on this fuck to die for Jesus to come back and, like, I don't fucking know, rapture all of us? There's no predictive power in the Bible. The Bible says that pi equals 3. And that snakes fucking talk. Donkeys talk too, and they're smartasses. The only other proof that we have of that is Shrek. That's a goddamn cartoon, by the way, in case you're unaware of that. And I know sometimes Christian people are heavily sheltered from things like, fun. Keep dancing? Let's dance. You guys want to dance with me? I know you're dancing with me. Let's dance.
Do you live according to what you believe, or do you live your life according to what you lack in belief?
I live my life to my own personal convictions and morality. And I mean, there's a lot of things that I live my life. I don't live my life by a lack of belief in God. That would be fucking stupid. I have my own convictions. I have my own, what you would call, beliefs. But that's not like a belief in God. See, a lot of people, they want to catch you in a corner, be like, oh, but you do have beliefs. All right? You believe in something, so that means you're not an atheist. It's like, no. Believing in an all-powerful God that created the world in whatever kind of fashion is way different from holding common beliefs. Common beliefs are things that everybody has. Like, I believe that murder is wrong. That's something that I believe. I also believe you're a dickhead if you're pulling out in the middle of traffic and you give the person you almost run into the finger. That I believe to be a dickish move. Let's dance. Dance your heart out.
If God doesn't exist and the Christian dies, the Christian loses nothing. But if God does exist and you die as an atheist, do you not lose more? Will you not lose your soul? Hebrews.
No, I fucking won't. Wow, that was Pascal's Wager. Not framed as Pascal's Wager, but it was Pascal's Wager. Now, there's a lot of problems with Pascal's Wager. One of the biggest problems is that you're specifying which particular God exists and saying, if you don't believe in this particular God, then you go to hell, but if you do, then you go to heaven, and so it's better to believe in that particular God. Well, what if fucking Zeus exists? You get up there and he's like, why the fuck you believing in Yahweh? And he takes a goddamn lightning bolt and shoves it directly up your ass. Like, what if that happens? Well, what if the Quran has the truth? What if Muslims are the only ones going to heaven getting to fuck 72 virgins? What if Buddhists and other people that believe in reincarnation are right, and we don't go to heaven? We get reincarnated into a shit beetle. Like, what if all of those things? It's not Christianity and atheism. It is every religion and then atheism. Like, it's theism, atheism. But you see, the thing about religion is that you got to believe in that specific religion in order to get to that specific heaven. Now, unless there's like 15 bajillion fucking heavens up there where you can get in, and every single fucking one of them, as long as you believe in that particular religion's heaven, then what the fuck is it? Like, what does it matter if I believe in that or in something else? Like, the Pascals Wager doesn't make any kind of fucking sense. Let's see what else he's got, because he's still got about 1:30 left on this video.
Chapter 11, verse 3 says, "By faith we understand that the universe was created by the word of God, so that what is seen was not made out of things that are visible."
Okay. Like, that doesn't... So that it was seen was not made... I don't even understand that fucking verse. By faith we understand that the universe was created by the word of God. Okay, so basically God went abracadabra, created the entire universe. Way to go. Took you 6 days to fucking get done with the earth. Made the entire universe in 1 day, right? But fuck, if he didn't spend enough time on the earth to make it the perfect, death machine for people here. Like, he wanted to fine-tune that machine so that it made it the hardest that he could for us to survive. Way to go, God. Thank you so much for using your word so sparingly. So that was what is seen was not made out of things that are visible. So you mean to tell me that God made shit, made everything. What is seen was not made out of things that are visible. So the things that everything's made out of are invisible. Okay? Well, what's invisible? Is invisible like the time period in which this would have been in? Like, so in the time period that this was written in, atoms weren't a fucking thing. Like, nobody fucking knew about atoms. So that could have been the thing that it was talking about. Or it could be magical God goo. Also, you can't just read a verse out of a holy book and tell me, oh, that explains our existence and how the world got here and everything like that. Like, when it's observationally bullshit. Like, we know that the universe is like 14 billion years old. We have a picture of the background radiation from the Big Bang. So, I mean, right off the bat there, you can't just throw out some kind of holy verse and expect me to just buy it hook, line, and sinker. Are you fucking delusional at this point? I don't know.
Can't visibly see something, it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. We cannot see God, but it doesn't mean that God doesn't exist.
Can't see God, but that doesn't mean that God doesn't exist. True. It does mean that God doesn't necessarily not exist, but you haven't given any kind of compelling evidence to suggest that one would. Also, even though that God, you've pushed him into the supernatural, he supposedly has real effects here on Earth. Becky finds her keys under her car. Little kid finds a cricket to eat over in Africa. Either way, apparently God is working in their lives. Like an actual thing. Prayer is supposed to have an actual effect here. But we don't find that it does. Any study you look up on prayer, those that get prayed for and they know they're being prayed for do worse. That was a medical study that was done. So, I think that it's just all psychological. Like, God didn't really help Becky find her keys to her fucking BMW so that she could be a 16-year-old with a fucking BMW while kid over in Africa has a bloated stomach because he hasn't eaten in 3 weeks. Like, those are ridiculous notions.
For example, we cannot see the wind, but we do feel the wind.
Oh shit, honey. We can't feel the wind, therefore God exists, is the argument this motherfucker just made. Well, we can't see the wind, not feel the wind, sorry. We can't see the wind, therefore God exists. That's so ridiculous because, even though, like right now, you can't see that that there's like a gas around me because it's odorless, it's colorless, so I mean, we can't see it. But guess what? We're all moving through a gaseous thing that we breathe in. Like that's what air is. I mean, just because you can't see it doesn't mean that the oxygen, nitrogen, and all those other compounds that are in our atmosphere, just because you can't feel them doesn't mean that they're not there or that they don't fucking exist. That's a dumb as fuck reason to believe in fucking God.
We also feel the effects of the wind, and we also experience the movement of the wind.
Okay, we do. And you know what? You can set shit up to scientifically test the wind. You know what we can't do a scientific test for? Fucking God. like anytime you want to bring up science to these types of people, be like, oh, well, science can't explain God. Oh, okay, science can explain the wind, but yet we're supposed to believe in God because wind?
And so the truth is, creation itself testifies of an all-powerful and imaginative creator.
An imaginative creator. Have you seen, like, go to Google right now, go to Google and just look up genetic diseases or genetic abnormalities. The first kid you find with a hand that's about 10 times the size of his face, I'm sure you can tell how creative God is. I mean, God, he's a spry motherfucker, right? I mean, sure, he has kids born without noses regularly, but yet you want Becky to get an A on a test. Well, by golly, we're gonna get that. I think your whole reasoning here is so ridiculous, as you know, because it's just an argument from design. Like, it's an argument from beauty. Like, just because we find it beautiful doesn't mean that God finds it beautiful. I mean, if you think about it, you would think that God thinks that, like, the sunrise and the forest and everything are scary as fuck, considering that the earth is perfectly designed to kill us. You would think that he would want to put us here, and we would want to be like, well, fuck, I don't want to go outside. Goddamn, look at that. There's a T-Rex over there. I don't believe that. These fucking people kind of believe that.
And so to the atheist, I would encourage you to be open-minded to the existence of God and to the possibilities of having a relationship with your Creator.
Okay, number one, I am open. Why do you think that I do what I do? I mean, you started this whole thing off by chastising me about spending so much time on God. But then you want me to be open to your arguments for God. Like, make up your fucking mind, man. Make up your mind as to what you want me to do. Do you want me to shut up about God, or do you want me to just start thinking about God all the fucking time? Like, I don't get where you're going with this. I am open to your arguments for God. I am open to your evidence for God. I am. But you can't come at me with, well, you can't see the wind, but you feel it, don't you? Therefore, God exists. Like, you can't come at me with dumbass arguments like that and expect me to flip on a dime and be like, fucking honey, there's wind, therefore we believe in God now. Do you understand me? We're Christians now, okay? Because wind. What we do in Christianity, because patriarchy, you understand me? I won't stand for this. Fuck. A little bit of patriarchy for you folks. But yeah, I forgot even what he was talking about. I got too into it. Okay, so just subscribe to inspiredwalk.com or whatever the fuck his YouTube channel is. I'm guessing this is where the end cards go. Alright, so there we go. I guess God's proven, because fucking I'm either proving that God exists by the wind that I'm generating with this daily Bible in my face, or I'm trying to absorb the information from God himself through osmosis through the air. I'm trying to become a Christian through osmosis. That makes more sense than fucking wind proving God. Godmosis. Anyways, I hope that you guys enjoyed this tonight. I hope that you guys will stick around for the weekend and everything. Anyways, guys, I appreciate you guys joining me on the thing, and I enjoyed seeing all of your comments down there. If you will, please share this out. It'll help me out a lot. Leave a like, leave a happy, leave a what the fuck ever kind of reactions. I will see you guys later. Y'all have a nice night. I'm gonna go play some Destiny. Don't forget to stand up and use your voice. I will see you heathens later.